I'm Maria Menounos, and you're tuned in to AfterBuzz TV, the ESPN of TV talk. Now, let the buzz begin.
Yes! It's a Wednesday, my good dudes and women. And you know what that means?
What?
Stumptown After Show on AfterBuzz TV. What's up, everyone? We are back with my wonderful full panel. I have, to my left, for podcast listeners, she is an attorney. She is powerful. She is intelligent. It is LaToya Blakely in the house. Back in the house.
It's blah blah. I'm happy to be back. Like, what am I saying?
I'm happy that you're back, because I was last show. I was by myself and I was so scared and alone. I'm so happy LaToya's back. But also back with LaToya is none other than the intelligent, amazing writer. Rach Goodman is also back.
Hey everybody, yes, I am Rach Goodman, or Rachel, whatever you would like to call me. It is up in the air, like whatever floats your boat, I am cool with.
As long as it's nice.
Yes.
Yeah.
Both acceptable.
Yeah.
I had to ask. I'm like, Rachel, do you want Rach or Rachel?
Yeah.
So I might go back and forth. I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
Rach.
And I've got all the notes. So
yes, you have the notes, but also you have the amazing chat joining us.
Yes.
In case there's anyone joining in live, thank you so much. We have the live chat. Give us your questions and comments. We really appreciate that, because you guys are also a part of the show just as much as we are, right, guys? Yes.
Definitely.
So tonight we're back. I'm just happy we're all back. We're covering the Dex Factor. Okay. Unfortunately, Shay Jones is not with us. Yeah. She's moved on to bigger and better things. Bigger and better things, air quotes. She is hosting the, what is the show? She's
Good Trouble.
The Good Trouble.
Which is a good show.
Which is a great show. So check her out on her own after show. It's amazing. Shay's amazing. We miss her so much, though, because sometimes not the same without her. But we're just happy covering Kobe Smulders and Jake Johnson and the irresistible Hoffman, Michael Ealy. So anyways, guys, it's been a couple weeks since we've been together. Initial thoughts on this particular episode, because I was telling you before the show started, it felt very long. It felt like a movie almost. So what were your thoughts on this particular episode now that we're all back?
I thought it was one of the best episodes so far. They didn't miss a beat. It started strong, it ended strong, and it was just very action-packed and lots of twists and turns, and it was one of my favorite episodes.
Movie, cinematic. Oh my gosh,
it was.
Sex. Well, not
and
sex.
The music.
Not the sexing. The
music's always good, but it was really good.
But the romantic encounters and the action.
Yes.
I agree completely.
The fact that they had 3 different versions of Girls Just Want to Have Fun, but the thing is that they fit every emotional beat so well. Like, we had the fun moment, and then we had the Dex moment where it was more like, she was facing off against Violet, and then we had the melodramatic moment with Hawthorne. So it was just I loved this episode. I loved the fact that everything that they kind of were kind of teasing us with, like Tookie knowing the couple, and also the tease of Dex and Violet and this romantic relationship going in a really dark direction. Everything they teased, everything kind of unwound, and we got to see things fleshed out.
Right, and I love that Dex's name is just always in the titles of the episodes. Like last week, it was Dexy Dirty Money or something like that, and then the Dex Factor. But also, I love that you mentioned that it is getting darker. It felt so much darker because we have an assassin, Violet, if that is her real name, which I do not think it is.
No, it wasn't.
It's not. No.
Yeah, they said it wasn't. It was an alias.
And she is portrayed by, we had to write it down because she looked so familiar.
Yeah.
And come to find out, she was also an Arrow as Amanda Waller, right?
Yeah.
And her name is, I wrote it down. Where was it?
It's Cynthia Adai Robinson. She was on Spartacus as well as Arrow.
And Power.
Okay, there you go. And I'm so excited for her return. We'll talk more about her character in a minute. But like I said, I love that the show, this episode in particular, really balanced the dark factors of the assassin. We're trying to get Gray out of hot water. He's doing a great job. We throw Dex up in there. And of course, we have kind of the more lighthearted sub storyline with Tookie and Ansel. Because you have to admit, okay, Gray's not working at the Alibi right now, so who the hell's running the bar? So it was a lot of fun, and it makes you even want, even though that's a sub storyline, you want more of that. Okay, what's up with this couple? I feel like Tookie knows more about Dex's past, so this show really, to me, has legs. It has so much more storylines to offer.
And it was so realistic with that couple too, because that's what people like that do. They like to your face, they love everything, and then they go behind your back and write this terrible review.
Right?
Do we know that they wrote that review though?
It has to be because Tookie recognized them. He mentioned in the episode that he knows them from somewhere, or there's some kind of something familiar about this interesting couple.
And I feel like it would have been them, just based on how they were acting. Even if they were happy at the end, these are just complainers. These are phonies. These are people who like they want to present an image of being this perfect couple, but everything's awful.
And when you say present an image, you just mean professionally and online.
Their public,
right?
Yeah.
Because it's obvious to everyone watching that there's nothing good between them.
Yeah.
And it's so funny that kind of mirrors almost quote unquote Violet, this character who seems like, oh, she has it all together, when really she's like, there's a past between this character. We don't know her real name, but she's trying to present this image to Dex that she has it all together. She's not this assassin, whereas this couple seems like they have it all together and they're fine, but then they go behind their back and on Yelp they leave the horrible review. And it kind of just goes to show that even though Tookie came up and tried to do his best, he offered them free drinks and really tried to right the wrong with this couple, they still try to put the alibi into hot water. So it really just goes to show that, can we really trust some of these reviews out there, you know? It's kind of, I know everyone has their own experience, you know? So it's cut me off, please, because you're just like ready to.
Just because this happened today. So I
please.
Went to a restaurant that I've been to several times.
Which restaurant?
Simply Wholesome, which is like a health food store / like restaurant.
Okay.
But I'm on Yelp just to like get the address, and there was someone that reviewed it like 3 different times, all negative reviews, and I'm like, why do you keep going back? So when you said, can we trust these reviews, that's what it made me think of, because if it's so bad, then why are you going? Random side note.
No, it's interesting. It's kind of like you want to trust them, but you also don't. You kind of want to use your own experience in a way with some of these reviews, and it is kind of like, I remember say if I want to go to a restaurant or something, and then I immediately see like a 1-star or 2-star, then I don't want to go, but then like, okay, then I'm already ruining my own possible good experience.
You just have to read it.
Right.
And like figure it out.
Or just go for yourself.
And honestly, I mean, this is a little bit different, but the same thing with like Goodreads with authors. There are so many people who just shame authors and like they get their friends to gang up on authors and just write these crappy reviews that it makes me think I don't even want to necessarily trust what I'm reading other people saying about anything. And I'd rather just go and experience it for myself, because you really don't know until you're there.
Yeah.
Wait, when you say Goodreads, what exactly are you referring to?
Goodreads is a place where you can post your book, like the information about it, and people can go and review your book.
Gotcha.
And a lot of like what happens in the book world is that people will gang up on authors and write negative reviews and then get their friends to do it, and so it will lower their overall score, making the book look worse.
Oh, wow. I'm learning so much.
Maybe this
I
is
just
what
go to Barnes & Noble and I pick out a book off a shelf. But apparently...
Yeah, but it's this big thing that happens. And, you know, sometimes, I mean, they say even negative publicity can be great publicity because people are talking about it anyway. But still.
I mean, isn't that what happened with, like, 50 Shades of Grey, for example?
Yeah.
Everyone wanted to read that despite the negative reviews, but it was critically acclaimed enough to have a freaking movie.
I read all 3
sequels.
books.
Wait, did you like them?
I did.
I
didn't see the movies yet.
I've read the books and seen the movies.
I do. I stan Dakota Johnson just because she like stood up to Ellen. So did you see that? Anyways, I'm so sorry, y'all.
Now I'm like, I need to see the script.
But I'll send it to you.
Okay, thank you.
I'll send it to you too.
Cool.
But anyways, I think this whole thing about kind of like the whole Goodreads can kind of be said the same for maybe restaurants, and especially, I mean,
well, probably
restaurants want to, restaurants are competitive. They want to make it seem like, what if they have a restaurant? This is predictions. I'm so sorry. What if that couple has a restaurant? But we did find out in the episode that this couple, they seem to be like relationship experts.
They were therapists for relationships.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. So, okay, they seem like they have it all together. They seem like they have it all together, air quotes for podcast listeners.
So here's my thing, is that you would think, knowing that these are figures like of some, you know, we don't know what level, like they could have, you know, a decent following. anywhere they go in public, you would think that they would have the charade. And I mean, that word has been thrown around this episode anyway, but you would think that they would maintain that charade even when they're in a place where they don't think that they know somebody, because that's exactly what happened. Somebody recognized them and their brand, and they just completely misrepresented their brand in public.
And I love the fact, I don't know if you guys caught it, but it seemed like the wife was the one who was doing all the talking. She was, the husband would say something, but she would immediately cut him off. So I'm thinking, okay, is this really like a picture perfect relationship? She seems very overbearing to the husband, and I don't know if he's okay with that. He seemed more submissive. So it didn't seem like a happy relationship.
Well, it was obvious that it wasn't a happy relationship, and he wasn't submissive. I mean, they argued the entire time, and every time she would cut him off, he would say, like, can I talk? Do you always have to talk for me? Basically, he was like, can you shut up for a minute?
That wife was not letting him, though. She was like, I wear the pants.
Right. I think it's interesting that we really got a firsthand look at their relationship, and it was only at the tail end did we learn that they were this, what was it called? Like the joy enrichment or...
Yeah, they were therapy counselors.
Right. But we don't learn that until the end.
Yeah.
So we got to see them for who they really are. And then,
outside of those good reviews that they apparently were getting.
And then we got to see their...
Which is interesting because
charade.
The
charade.
Yeah.
The charade.
Because the whole episode is about people playing different roles.
Yeah.
Right.
We don't know Violet's real name. Dex is undercover. Gray is undercover. Even Leo is pretending to honor this deal when we find out he's going to kill Gray, and that's the whole goal. And just so everybody's playing a part, and this is kind of prediction-y, but I'm just going to say it now, even Max, the fact that, like, at one point Dex would say to Gray, hey, she's probably playing you. I'm still not convinced that she wasn't playing him, and that the whole thing with her leaving and, like, saying, oh, you know, kind of hinting you could come with me, I still feel like we're going to maybe see her again, and that we're going to realize she's not actually good. Like, and we already know she has her gray areas, no pun intended, since, but I feel like she's actually more bad than she's letting on.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I don't know. Gray's been tied to a lot of bad women. And so I would want to trust Max after the other Heffa. Remember Shay? The Heffa is evil. Liz! The Heffa is evil. So I would like to think maybe this Heffa isn't evil from what's her name, Max?
Yeah.
So I don't know. It is interesting. Maybe we will see her again. But I don't know. Any more thoughts on the whole Ansel and Tookie storyline before we move on?
Oh, well, yeah. I mean, we got to see Ansel taking a step towards his independence.
Right.
The show opened with him in the car, and I was like, oh, he's getting to learn to drive. And then you find out he just gets to sit in the driver's seat. But he got to be in charge of the Bad Alibi. And so I just love Ansel. And actually, Kobe posted to her Instagram. I think she said something along the lines of, like, he's the heart of the show. And that really is so true. We've said this so many times. He's that innocent, just open, good character that, like, has nothing wrong with him. And I think that everyone could love him. And so I was just really excited to see him in charge. And also knowing when he needed help, right? Like, he had no pride. He called Tookie so fast and was like, get down here, I need you. And so I just liked them together. And I liked that they got to egg the house.
Oh my gosh, yes. I can't believe I forgot about that. That's what they got what they deserved.
Right. And Tookie said this isn't right. Like, this isn't going to fix anything, but it'll make us feel better.
Right.
So let's do it.
I think the most hilarious part to me is when he went away in his truck. With, I guess this was an accident.
Play.
Yeah, like just the fact that they would even go and, like, drive in a company car.
And a very identifiable.
Yeah.
But even the orange truck that Max left in, I was like, really? An orange truck? Like, how far are you going to get? Like, you're going to stand out the entire way.
Gray's truck. He gave, I know we're jumping ahead, but it was Gray's. He gave her his truck. He said, I'm giving you my truck.
Yeah.
And
what?
When the cops showed up, too, they didn't even ask about Max. Remember? They were just like...
Oh,
he's
gosh.
wanted.
Yeah,
because they probably didn't know. Like, they didn't know
Yeah.
she was there and had left.
Okay, this is giving me good prediction vibes, y'all, already. Okay.
Yeah.
Before we get to that, though, before we get to our next topic, I want to thank everyone out there. Is anyone in the live chat by chance?
No,
Rach?
we do
Okay,
not
that's
have
fine.
any.
Jazzy Jones, I'm so disappointed, girl. Where you at, girl? Oh my gosh, but it's okay. If you're not joining us live, that's totally fine. Leave us a question and comment in our DMs or in the comments below on YouTube. We love talking even when the show wraps live. But until then, give us a 5-star review on iTunes. We would much appreciate that, right?
Yes.
And maybe we might shout you out if you do. I'm going to check them out after the show ends. Yeah. And I might shout out some people next week on episode 12. But until then, thank you for letting us be the ESPN of TV talk week after week. We love this show, Stumptown on ABC. So why don't we get to our next topic, Violet and Dex, because I want to talk about this. We've already talked about Violet, if that is her real name, which it is not. Okay, guys, you got to give me the tea on Violet and just her interaction with Dex in this episode. It was so interesting just seeing Dex kind of not meet her match, but someone who was just so interesting and mysterious, literally tackle Dex in this episode.
When we got to the end, so like at first, I just thought this was somebody that Dex was meeting accidentally. When we got to the end, though, I started to think that Dex had done this on purpose so that she could get the phone number. And that somehow she kind of sensed that something was up with her.
I disagree.
I think Dex was just completely oblivious to Violet the entire time. I don't think I love Dex, but Dex, she wanted sex.
Oh, yeah, I do think that she did, but I also think that she knew something was up with her too.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
She is very intuitive, I'll give you that.
Yeah.
But I think Violet in this episode had like one step up ahead of Dex.
Well, I thought that about Violet in the beginning. I thought that Violet, like Dex was on Violet's radar and she went to the bar intentionally to scope her out.
Yeah.
But after watching the episode, I don't think that either of them suspected the other person, because when they encountered each other, I think they were both genuinely
surprised.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So.
No, now that you say that, I was thinking, okay, maybe Violet does know a little bit about Dex tied to this case, now that she's literally into this case.
Yeah.
But no, now that you say that, I'm like, oh yeah, she was like, get out.
Yeah.
They're both,
Yeah,
they didn't want to fight each other. You
No.
could tell, you got the tension.
Yeah.
Now looking back at that fight scene before it happened.
I did think that when they were exchanging phone numbers, that Dex's phone was gonna go off, or like some kind of message was gonna pop up, and that
Got the drugs.
Violet would know
Yeah.
that like Dex was kind of a part of what she was there to investigate.
The only weird thing, though, is that obviously we learned that Violet has a burner phone. And so
Yeah.
even though they were kind of acting this way with each other, I still question Violet and how genuine it was. Just because I just don't, I could believe, like, the chemistry was definitely there. And I felt like I loved, like, I shipped them already, like, even in one scene. But I just think that there's more to Violet, and that maybe she had another ulterior agenda.
I mean, if she's a professional assassin, then
Yeah.
I'm not expecting her to have a real phone and be giving out a real phone number to someone.
Well,
she
yeah.
needs.
But I mean, I just don't think that, because it went really quickly to, oh, I'm floating and I really like care about you. And I don't think that an assassin like Violet would be that quick to accept, like, be so quick
I
to be
actually
open.
disagree on that, but because you think they live in, like, she has like parallel worlds, right? She
Yeah.
has like her professional world, and she probably is very unattached or detached from people because of what she does. Like, she can't really let people in, and so I could see her really like craving that intimate connection. And so if you haven't had that in a while, and then you have it, and it feels like a true like soul connection, then I can see you going there very quickly. Because she said it and Dex said it too, and I think they both genuinely felt that way. But it's like, where can this go? Like, if I'm on vacation in Europe and I meet this guy and it's amazing and I spend the entire vacation with him, I'm not really expecting to see him when I leave, right? Like, even if I think I'm in love with him, I'm like, when I get back to America, like, thanks for the good 2 weeks.
Yeah.
I think that kind of ties back to the whole song that was played 3 times by Cyndi
just
Lauper.
wanna
Girls
have
just
fun.
want to have fun.
Yeah.
And I definitely, the standout moment for me was definitely just seeing them duke it out, beat the crap out of each other in like the slow cover version. And I love how it transitioned into the actual Cyndi Lauper version as they just went ham on each other, for lack of a better term. But I kind of like this quote that Violet talked about, and she said, people learn to either fight their demons or embrace them. And I love that Dex kind of asked her, what do you think I am? And Violet basically answered, well, you have to kind of figure that out yourself. And I think that's so true. You can't really let people tell you who you are. You have to learn to kind of like grow and figure it out yourself, and not have people's perceptions of you form who you are. I thought that was very beautiful and relatable. I think we really forget that. We always ask people, who am I? Or what do you think of me, LaToya? Rach, what do you think of me? Who am I? Like, describe me in a couple words. But no, you have to describe yourself. You have to tell LaToya, you have to tell me who you are. I can't tell you who you are.
But I do think that some people have the ability to like see a person and feel a person and to know.
That's true.
And so I think that there's a combination of knowing who to listen to and who to trust, and also like really tapping in and figuring out who you are for yourself.
I agree with that, but I also think that sometimes, you know, kind of like what you were saying, Ollie, that it's just sometimes you know yourself. Like there are just certain things about you that only you're going to perceive about yourself. And to ask someone a question like that and say, hey, like, please tell me who I am. Like, I don't think that Violet was going to be able to answer that. But I do think that sometimes there are people we meet who just, for whatever reason, they just inherently know who we are. And we don't even have to tell them. They just know before, like when they just instantly meet somebody and they can feel the energy.
Especially with a character like Dex who has so much baggage, has so much guilt still within her that obviously like a character like Violet wouldn't know because Violet just met her. So she's not going to know about all those harboring feelings towards Benny and how that's affected her to present day too.
Yeah.
But going back to what you said, I do agree that Dex and Violet, that whole situation happened really quickly. Like, I don't really understand where in their interactions the, like, love connection happens. Like, it just seemed like two women talking at a bar, and at some point they understood that they liked each other.
That was some tequila sunrises, a couple of rounds of those.
But I do think that they are very similar people and probably do have similar backgrounds. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if Violet really had been in the army.
Yeah.
Right.
Because I do think they were able to recognize similarities in each other.
Yeah. They held a conversation for sure.
I took that as being the truth too.
Yeah.
That she was definitely like she did the. Like, I feel like it was one of the situations where Violet was telling her the truth, but with certain things either omitted or completely changed, but that the general concept was there and that they could kind of see that in each other.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But we can't talk about them without mentioning the drink that Dex got at the end in the bar.
Yeah.
Because Violet sent her that drink.
I did not catch that.
Yeah.
She did?
She did.
Yeah.
And it was a Bloody Mary.
No.
right?
It was a Seabreeze.
Oh.
But it's
What's
what
a
she had been
Seabreeze?
drinking. They said it was cranberry, grapefruit, vodka, and then Violet liked the celery stalk in hers. So that's what...
A Seabreeze. I'm going to have to get me one of those if that's a real drink. Is it a real drink?
I guess so.
I think it is a real drink, yeah.
This whole time I thought it stood out to me. I was like, oh, I want a Bloody Mary now. My alcoholic self.
It would have been funny though if it was a Bloody Mary, just because.
Oh, well, yeah.
What? Wait, why would it explain?
Because of the fight, I'm assuming. The blood.
There was some major blood in that thing.
Yeah.
Vito from the booth here, by the way. A Seabreeze is a cocktail containing vodka with cranberry juice and grapefruit juice.
Oh,
well, thank you.
Vito. Thank you so much, Vito, in the booth for educating us, because I certainly did not know that for sure.
I don't think it's a very popular drink. Or maybe it is in some places.
I wonder what it means though, because it has to have some like meaning to.
Well, like a Cape Cod is cranberry juice and vodka.
Next time I go to WeHo, I'm like, can I get a Seabreeze? They're going to be like, what? Huh? You want vodka cranberry? Okay, sure. You know. But before we wrap up, we do have to get to our last topic, which is kind of a combination of Hoffman and Gray, because they've been working in tandem. I love the scene when Dex was kind of thrown into them, literally. Oh, you guys were both inside me. What did you think of just kind of that whole ordeal, and also just kind of Hoffman and Gray barely being successful? I loved when he kind of faked out. I also love when Hoffman faked out Gray about ripping the check. And how everything worked out, right?
The moment when Gray thought he was going to die, and I don't know. I mean, I assume that he thought it was going to happen before the Portland PD actually showed up, but just the look on his face, like, okay, well, I guess I have to accept my fate. And then the PD, comes through the doors. But just that moment, I thought it was really well acted.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, it was really good. So, yeah. Gray knew what was going to happen outside of a gun being pointed at him. Like, that was not on the agenda. And it was the same thing. Like, I know the PD's coming. I don't know when. I don't even know if he thought that they would get there. Like, I didn't see that at all. Like, I didn't see the hope that maybe they'll get here soon. I agree with you. Like, he just accepted his fate. And
Yeah. He was pretty much like, this is
it.
it.
Because if it wasn't, I was expecting that we're going to get there that quick, for crying out loud. And then the only person that was there was Dex. And I thought, like, maybe Dex is going to come and save the day.
I thought that too.
But she didn't. But going back to Dex, sorry to backtrack, I just love the fact that she was so quick to fight Violet off. Because she knew not her man. I was about to say her
best friend.
Her bestie, her brother, whatever you want to
Oh, no, you cannot call him a brother after what she said.
Very true. Her best man friend was still inside, so I did love how...
I thought you were going to say... Still inside. Dun.
No, but...
Little gray areas there.
Oh, my God. Fill in the blanks. But no, I love that she was so ready to just drag Violet and snatch her off. Well, Violet kind of dragged her too. But anyways, it all worked out. You were saying?
I didn't think we were done. Like, okay, obviously we got the drink at the end, but I didn't think we were done with the Violet in terms of being part of the scene. I thought she was going to be the one to jump in, see that Leo was holding Gray up, and she would come in and basically
save the day.
And then she would end up realizing, okay, well, Gray's not really on their side, neither is Dex. Okay, big miscommunication.
Interesting.
But if she was to me, I think she would do the opposite. She put a silencer on that gun, and I predicted that she was just ready to kill everyone, basically, and take the drugs.
Well, you also have to keep in mind, she didn't really know what she was walking into.
Yeah.
Or did she?
Or maybe she did from I don't know the character's name that she had. The guy, the college student who's going to Madrid. Charles. Like, she was surprised that Gray was there. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like,
Charles did tell her that the whole situation that Leo was going to kill Gray.
Right,
so she did know that. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But, like, as far as, I wonder the details that she knew walking in, how many people were there, who was she going to, who is she prepared to kill? And
I just want to know why.
Why what?
Why was she... Who is this character? Why is she such a big assassin? Like, what? Did I miss something?
The only thing that I caught was they kept calling her Seattle. So my guess is that she had come from Seattle. That, I don't know why, because they kind of said it...
They mentioned Seattle.
Yeah, when they mentioned her.
I'm just trying to remember.
Yeah, that was like in the beginning of the episode.
Yeah, and so, for anyone who is not from Portland is like
on the outskirts.
Portland's like
super close.
It's 2.5 hours without traffic. With traffic, yeah, like good luck. But without traffic, it's like 2.5 hours from Portland up north to Seattle. So that's kind of what, for me, that's how I was viewing her the whole time, was somebody coming down from Seattle and had to deal with this in Portland.
Because she worked for whoever the drugs belonged to. Like, that's who she worked for. Remember, the drugs were stolen. Because they stole the van and the drugs were in the van. And so she worked for the owner of the drugs. Gotcha. Like, whoever's van that was and product it was, that's who she worked for.
People with power, I feel like. Because if she has the skills and the equipment, the silencer, unless there's just a bunch of assassins running out these days, I'm just like, she has the funds to be able to work for those people and those people vice versa. But any more thoughts on the whole, I wanted to bring up before we move on to our news and special segment, I wanted to talk about kind of like the whole ordeal. Any more thoughts on Max and Gray and how they kind of left up? I loved how Sue Lynn was also involved.
Oh, yeah.
How she basically lied to protect them, right? Am I wrong? No. She's like, cops, you can't stop them. This is the reservoir. Toodles.
The reservoir.
The reservoir. Sorry, y'all.
There could be water there. It could be a reservoir somewhere.
Probably. I'm sure there is. There's probably a riverbank somewhere.
Yeah.
The red.
Sounds good.
Sorry, y'all.
Sounded nice.
They say they're words that are just very similar to me.
It happens.
So any thoughts? Why did you think she did that? Why did she do that?
Because Dex called in a favor.
Yeah.
And she said she owed Dex.
Yeah.
I guess. That was just very surprising. That was a lot. Because you think that would put her into hot water, potentially.
But probably not. I mean, if you really think about it. So I think even though she may have lied about that, the reservation is generally not under traditional jurisdiction. And so it's probably limited what they could do to her anyway.
Yeah. And I'm just thinking, too, I'm just remembering back when we saw, like, everything that Dex did for, the one family, I really feel like that meant something to Sue Lynn. And so I feel like it isn't just one favor that she might owe Dex. She'll probably keep trying to help her too.
Yeah. And it was strategic. I mean, I think that Jake intentionally got to the reservation and called Dex and called in that favor, and then Dex called Sue Lynn.
He sent a snap. He was like,
I need you.
Yeah.
Dropped a pin. This is where I am.
He's like, did you see my story, Dex? We'll definitely get those predictions going, because I feel like that storyline and a couple other storylines in this episode were left open, especially with Hoffman and his dad. So get them ready. Get them ready.
I love it.
Get
Girls
them ready.
just want to have fun. That was the third time they played it.
Well, why don't we get to first, before we get to our news, let's get to our special segment, LaToya.
So tonight for our special segment is You Got Stumped.
Yes.
So we're just talking about any moment in the episode that stumped us. Please share your stumped moments. Who wants to start?
Oh, man. I'll go first. Mine wasn't that great. Mine was when Tookie and Ansel did egg the house. I was just so shocked because Tookie doesn't seem like that kind of guy. I love that him and Ansel kind of went on this kind of like mischievous route. Mischievous. Is it? Which way do you say it?
Mischievous.
Mischievous? Really? I've been saying it so wrong all these years. Anyways, they went on this kind of like, they went on this kind of little, a buddy, little like egging of this couple's house, and I really am excited to see how it turns out in a future episode. Because I was like, damn, okay, I don't want them to get called on the cops, So it was cute.
What stumped me is Gray giving Max his car. One thing to help her, but like giving her your car? Really?
Yeah.
Like, really?
Like, aren't you insured? Your registration?
Yeah.
I feel like that's going to be tied to you if she gets pulled over.
Exactly. Like, he's really... And she's already, like, she admitted that if they pulled her in, it would be... She'd end up in jail anyway.
Yeah.
Hoffman's probably kind of sort of looking for her,
They
maybe?
have her mugshot.
Maybe not.
Don't they have her mugshot?
Yeah.
I saw it in this episode. So it's just... Unless she's going to abandon this prediction. She might abandon the car, but I don't know.
Well, she said, like, you'll know where I am, and she kind of implied she'd have the car.
Well, you'll know because she talked about Douglas, Arizona earlier. He knows where she's going.
Yeah.
I know. LaToya, what stumped you?
When Dex said, "You've both been inside me," like I literally was like,
but not at the same time.
Oh my god! She had to like confident and like fun about it. And Gray and Hoffman were both like.
And then when we were watching it, this is like the fourth person she's been with in this
At least, like she's been getting it.
Violet. I don't know if she actually did it with Liz. She didn't do it with Liz.
No.
Gray, Hoffman, and then who was the other one?
Wasn't there another girl?
There was another girl, the musician. I forgot her name.
And wasn't there somebody at the very beginning of the season? Like
Probably.
just some random
Sure.
person?
I'm sure.
Get it, girl.
Dex.
More power to you, Dex. But she's single, living her best life. Girls just want to have fun.
Yeah.
Well, get those predictions ready. But first, for next week, I have a little bit of news for you.
TV News.
Yes, we did get a preview of a really interesting wedding episode to come next week for the episode 12. If you guys are Pretty Little Liars fans, well, get excited because Troyan Bellisario from Pretty Little Liars will be guest starring in next week's episode as the intriguing yet, I guess, infamous, for lack of a better term, groom to be. Because we saw in the preview, he might be a murderer, but it's really exciting for you Pretty Little Liars fans because he hasn't really been in anything since 2017. So I don't know. Are you guys excited? Did you watch Pretty Little Liars at all?
I watched some.
I watched some of it too, yeah.
Well, get ready because next week on Stumptown, he's coming and he might be a murderer. So get those predictions ready for that episode. But for this episode, are you guys ready for predictions?
Your
Let's do it.
AfterBuzz TV predictions.
All right, rapid fire predictions. What do you think is going to go down on this, what's supposed to be the most wonderful day of this bride's life? What do you think is going to go down? Because it looks like Gray's gonna get her hands dirty in this wedding episode.
The only thing I've got is that this wedding is gonna somehow make Dex realize that she's missing a relationship. That it's gonna really put her like in the forefront of dealing with that.
And maybe not even like a romantic relationship.
Yeah, just someone that is like her partner.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting. I'm drawing a blank on predictions.
No, it's totally fine. But I like that you bring that up because maybe like I feel like a lot of the terms of like soulmate, it could also learn of something that's not romantic. Maybe it's a friendship. I feel like some of my friends are my soulmates. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, girl, you're my soulmate, but it's not necessarily a romantic thing. It's something that like we have just a very strong bond and a very strong connection. I think Dex can find that in someone like Gray or even like her brother. Like, it's not creepy. I feel like you can have a very strong bond with someone that you're related to. And yeah, it will be really interesting to see how Dex tackles. I keep saying tackles because she's literally going to be fighting in this episode.
Every episode.
But any other long-term things regarding this episode do you think might happen? Anything?
I think Violet could potentially come back in some capacity. Like, even if we don't see her, I wouldn't be surprised if she contacted Dex. So I'm interested to see that,
The Seabreeze, especially when she threw her off the balcony. The blood trail, she wasn't anywhere near to be seen.
Yeah.
It'll be interesting. I don't know. But Violet, we're going to see Violet, and we're going to figure out her name. Any more thoughts?
I don't think so.
I think that's it.
Well, my amazing host, where can I find you on social media until next week?
You can find me on Twitter at Rach Goodman or on my author Instagram account at Rachel Radner Author. And if you are a fan of The Young and the Restless, Doctor Who, Outlander, I am on all of those panels.
Yes.
Rachel's busy. I'm on Instagram at LaToya _Blakely and Twitter at Blakely _LaToya.
Any other shows you're doing right now, Toya? Do you want to play?
Reprisal.
Ooh. Okay, good. Cool. Check their
You
shows
need to finish
out.
it.
Yes, absolutely. I need to get on that bandwagon. And your shows too, Rachel. And I'm your host, Ollie Drennan. Follow me on Twitter and Instagram at Ollie Dreamer. And we'll see you next week for Stumptown, episode 12. Bye, guys.
Our founder, Keven Undergaro, and me, Maria Menounos, would like to thank you for tuning in to AfterBuzz TV. Remember, we're not just the first, we're the biggest in the world, and we're the only destination for all your favorite TV shows. Whatever you crave, we've got it. So go to AfterBuzzTV.com and check out our lineup. Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.